thank you everyone for coming to the HKAFF screening of Human Resource. So today we are very honored to have Director Nawapol with us in Hong Kong, who will do the screening sharing. So please give a round of applause to welcome Director Nawapol. So before I ask my questions, do you want to say a few words to the audience?
Okay. First, I have to say thank you for coming for this screening, and I feel happy to come back to this festival again, because to me this festival is very welcoming very well, and the audience here is very good. So I'm so happy to meet you guys today.
And it's an honor to have you as our director in focus this year. I have a question. So your previous film, last film, was Fast and Furious. It's more commercial, it's a comedy. But this one is totally different. So can you tell us first, what's the inspiration for this Human Resource?
Because each of my film is kind of my personal story and my personal question in that period. So after Fast and Furious, I got a new question in my life, because now I'm 40, and it's a good time to think if I want to have a baby. But this question leads to another question about the meaning of birth itself. So I think it's very interesting topic, because then after that I saw a lot of news about declining birth rate all around the world. So I think this topic would be could be shared with everyone in the world, I think, because almost every country is something like this. And I think when I start to write a screenplay about this kind of topic, I feel that it's really not about birth, but when you try to consider if you should bring some new baby to this world, actually it's all about reflection on the society, or the meaning of life, and the surrounding around you, the system, the political situation, the economy, and everything. So I think it's good story to convey this kind of message, actually to convey this kind of question to the audience, and maybe we can share the opinion together.
Indeed, in Fast and Furious, you also tackle this subject of having children, but it's a comedy. It's more fun than that one. But this one, I think, is more gloomy, more depressing, and because in our discussion yesterday, you mentioned bittersweet as one of the keyword for your work. But this one is more bitter than the sweet. So I wonder, is this change intentional? Or can you tell us more about why for this work is more serious than your other movies?
I think it's intention, but by nature. I think I grew up a little bit from the previous film, and when I have this idea of the story of this film, when I have to tackle with this theme about the society and the system around the people, I think in past 10 years I experienced a lot of things about the corporate and the political situation in Thailand, and I feel that when I have to tackle with this theme, I can't see any fun of it. It should be like a serious talk about this topic. It should be like let audience face with the reality of the society. And I think the cinema is quite good medium of it because when with big screen and in the environment of the cinema, I try to show the daily life of Thai people in the society and let the audience to notice something that happened quietly in our society. So I think it's a good way. This is only good way to tackle or to tell this thing in this film. So the method or the approach is quite different from my previous work. And I just saw the audience, a Thai audience, who watched the film already in the film festival. They said something that interesting, that when they compare this film to my previous work like Heart Attack, they talk, those Heart Attack and Human Resource all talk about the working system. But in Heart Attack is the film that I made in my 30s. So I have a different perspective to the working system in our society. Maybe in the dark humor approach or something, or dark comedy, black comedy. But for this film, I don't see anything comedy in this system. So that audience said it's like a first time that I tackle with this topic very seriously and no more humor anymore, which is to me is quite accurate to our society. I mean Thai society right now, because everything is more intense, especially for the system or the society problem is getting more intense. And sometimes it's like the people, for example, like the corporate, they are just not only like one company now. Sometimes they work with the government to issue some laws or something or some policy to like put more pressure on the ordinary people. So it's kind of important issue in our society.
And it's like you mentioned heart attack, and it's like from a critique individual, you expand the lens to a social level. It's like this one, you try to talk about the society, the modern society, the problem of the capitalist society. So it's a much broader scope comparing to the previous works.
Because when I make a heart attack, it's just individual level. It's like, how do I survive in this system? But for this film, I try to questioning the system itself. Sometimes I ask myself why I have to try to find a way to survive in this system. Because as I said, in past 10 years, I just found that sometimes the system is corrupted, and if you don't fix at the system, sometimes the problem is still there, and you have to keep finding the way to survive forever. So this time, I changed the position.
So let's see, is there any question from the audience? We'll have staff bring the mic to you.
Hello. Thank you very much for your movie. And I would like to compare this movie not with your previous one, but the one before the Happy Old Year. I felt that in Happy Old Year, my impression is that the main character, she finds out that when she tries to clean everything from her apartment and from her life, she finds that the emptiness is not the answer. That you should kind of keep some precious things in your life, maybe only one or two things, but you should still keep something. But from this movie, I have an impression that this movie is kind of more a Buddhist movie, and that emptiness is indeed the answer. So, what do you think about this interpretation? Do you believe that emptiness is the answer?
I put a lot of emptiness in each shot because actually I want to say about the how system put the pressure on everyone's life quietly. And the system or some family, sometimes they affect us very quietly and in very hidden way. Sometimes they are behind us and we are not aware. So I think this film, I try to design the shot to be something like you just watch, and I try to make it quiet to convey this kind of message, because somebody watch it and they see nothing, but in my opinion, because everything it looks very normal. But if you ever have some problem with the system or have some issue with the copyright, sometimes you can notice something in that emptiness or in very ordinary shot or some ordinary scene.
The questions?
Hi, Mr. Nawapol. Thank you for the movie. I really love your work, especially I watched 36 and Die Tomorrow and Mary is Happy. For me, personally, I do not think you are a commercial director. On the contrary, you are very creative and talented. And okay, so first of all, there is a common trait in your film that every time when I watch it, at the very beginning, I feel quite overwhelmed. But in the past, like in 36, I am, and also in Mary is Happy, I am overwhelmed by, and also in the Heart Attack, I am overwhelmed by the psychological activities in the protagonist. However, in this film, I feel overwhelmed by I feel the protagonist is passive, right? It's buried in the society movement. So, and I also noticed there is an incorrespondence between montage and sound. For example, you always introduce the sound earlier than the next scenery. So do you purposely do it, or the inconsistent in my heart really create an effect, even though the next scenery is not happening, but the sound initially it makes me feel like it's like a heart beating. So it's my personal experience. So how do you deal with this part?
For this film, we try to create a sound to express the feeling of the character, because as you said, the character is quite passive. That's also my intention, because I think one of the problems of our society is that most of the people even they have a problem, but they can't say it out. They have to fix themselves or find a way out for themselves, not fix the system. So I think I try to simulate that kind of feeling of the people in those corporate or office, or actually it could relate to everyone who, whether you have to work with some company or you have to work with, for example, like I have to work with investor or something, or I have to work with client in some commercial. Sometimes I have some frustration and I can't say nothing. I can't say nothing. So I think I try to create this kind of feeling. So when character doesn't say much, I try to design the sound to be like an expression of the character. So we try to create some sound or try to create some audio transition to tell more the feeling of the character. Thank you so much.
Is there a question?
So I have a question. So in the movie, actually, it reflects the two groups of people, the ordinary people. So one type is just like the leading roles, the couple strive very hard to try to move upwards or try to get some connections with the upper class. And then the other types is not just like the colleagues or, they're trying to passively or actively, finding the ways to fight against the systems. So I'm just curious, from the Thai people perspective, which type of people represent them most like nowadays?
I think the first one is kind of Friend and Tem is kind of general people in our country, but I think I really understand them. So sometimes I try to say sometimes it's not about individuals. Sometimes it's about the system that create this kind of thought to the people. For example, like you will hear the podcast almost everything, or that try to tell you have to improve yourself, or you can get behind the others. So I think this kind of system, it looks good and it sounds makes sense, but this kind of thought sometimes exhausted us. Sometimes you improve yourself all the time. You try to make yourself to be a better person, or you try to move forward, but it's never enough, because when you go to another level, they will say you have to improve yourself again, and so it's kind of circle. It's kind of forever. So I think I really understand it, and but in this movie, so I try to send the message that sometimes I want the audience to, for example, especially for Thai audience, sometimes they should aware that there's a problem with it, that they should have a question to themselves, that why they have to do something like this, why they have to have a connection, that why they have to move outward all the time. Yes, so I think the first would be the answer.
I have one last question, maybe the one at the back.
So it is shown that like a lot more women experience eco-anxiety when it comes to like bringing a child into this world, and then simultaneously we talked about how this is also with personal contemplation. So for you, what was it like to write and create a female character experiencing this?
Can you say that again? Sorry.
Yeah. Like, what was it like for you to write and create a female character?
Okay. Looking back, I think each character they are representative of some of my feelings. I don't know. It could be like that. For example, like friends sometimes is representative of my feeling when I want to say something, or when I have my own frustration but I have to keep it in my body, inside me. And the husband team is something that I saw every day. It's a general people in Thai society that think like this and do like this, and which I really understand them, as I said. But sometimes I have a question also: why do they have to do like this? And these people is everywhere in the society, and the colleagues. Is the one who has a very good background, so I really want to talk about sometimes we were born in this world, and sometimes we have no option. Even we can choose the background of the family. Sometimes somebody can do something because they can do. They was born in some place that very good, or some rich families, or they have a freedom to do something. And for the young candidate, that girls, I think is another people who have positivity in their own life, but sometimes you can see some problem in that law that you have to follow some rules because you are taught by parents that you have to do something like this, and this thought is kind of legacy from old generation to the next generation, and sadly sometimes it works also because old generation follow the rules. They said to the children that you should do like this, you should do like that, and sometimes it works because sometimes I don't think that young girl she might have a good future, maybe, I don't know, but this time she might have some problem or she has some suffering, but maybe she might be do good in the future, or she might be promoted in some way. But sometimes I still have a problem with this kind of system also. Yeah. Not sure if I answer your question or not, but yeah, it's something like this.
But when you talk about the girl, I remember one dialogue from your film. They said she has to she can make the choice herself, but it also looks like she's forced to accept the job. So it's like actually she doesn't have the freedom to make the decision because it's a systematic problem.
I still believe that everyone basically wants the freedom, but even myself, sometimes I can't do anything I want, and sometimes when you meet with a very hardcore situation, a very very difficult situation from the system or from the society, sometimes you start to ask yourself, why we are doing here? Because you see the problem every day, you try to find the solution, and sometimes you got the way out, but the next day you have a new problem again. So I think it's like yeah.
I think you understand that.
I don't know what to say. Sorry.
Yeah, I think we're running out of time. So, but before the end, we want the director to have a photo with the audience. So.